one was one of the sitting in front of NBC and laying down in front of the television, and I was 13 years old and a diehard A's fan because all of that, just about, the story, Scott. You weren't here yet, but the entire team nearly came up through Huntsville with the Stars. It was a formality. They were going to win the World Series. They were the best team in baseball that year. Kirk Gibson couldn't even walk to the plate.
He had 2 bad knees.
Yeah, Dennis Eckersley was the best closer in baseball. I mean, the whole everything. And he swung. I thought that it was going to be a fly out, and the game was over, and then the ball kept going. And then I'll never forget where I was. I'll never forget Vin calling that on television and just saying the impossible has happened. And I just wanted to throw up on the floor. And I'll be honest, that was game 1, Scott. That was game 1.
Oh, yeah.
But as soon as it happened.
And that's the thing. When you listen to that call and you feel it, the emotion makes you feel like it's game 7.
Yeah, well, you just felt like it was over, okay? It's a best of 7. But the way the Dodgers came out of nowhere, kind of like the Braves this past year, okay? They got red hot.
Yeah.
Oral Hershiser, I used to call him Oral Hamburger. He just was unbelievable. I mean, he could not be touched that year in the postseason, Scott. I mean, not touched. And when the A's blew that game and it was over, and I think it was the only at bat of Gibson's of the World Series for him. When he hit that home run in Dodger Stadium, it just felt like the series was over. It was just a formality.
For those that don't know.
And I've hated the Dodgers ever since. And I love Vin Scully. Never had one thing against him, but I've hated the Dodgers ever since.
We go back in this one, 1986. Vin Scully on the call for the 1986 World Series. By the way, he did 25 World Series.
This is another one that made me sick.
This one is the Bill Buckner call.
Saw this one.
Can you believe this ball game at Shea?
Oh, brother.
Woo. So the winning run is at second base with 2 out, 3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
That was the 1986 World Series.
Yeah, I was 11, and I'm thinking I'm going to see history. The Boston Red Sox are going to win it all. I bet you'll just never forget Vin yet again. It gets through Buckner, and it's going down the first, and the Mets win it, and you're just wanting to throw up. Because, once again, people forget this. That was Game 6, Scott.
Yes,
there was
that
another
was
game
6.
left,
Yep.
but you just knew. It was just like Kirk Gibson. You just knew it was over, okay? You just gagged, and it was over. And so that was – and that it's so funny that Vin – and you – those are those iconic moments
in baseball.
When you never forget.
Yes. And how about this one for Atlanta Braves fans?
Yes.
1 ball and no strikes. Aaron waiting. The outfield deep and straight away. Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone. For baseball, what a marvelous moment for Atlanta and the state of Georgia. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol. And it is a great moment for all of us, and particularly for Henry Aaron.
So eloquently done there by Vin. And the thing that made Vin so good is he paused for about a minute and he let everybody let the crowd take over and let everybody he let you just take it all in.
He let the sound of the paint the picture. Even on Kirk Gibson's home run, if you notice that. Yeah. Buckner's stuff.
And Buckner was in 2 of those calls. But that was Buckner's earlier days when he was an outfielder.
Right. Now, Vin Scully. So Vin Scully was on the NBC broadcast from 83 to 89. He was the lead broadcaster for Major League Baseball there. But Vin Scully also did NFL football games. And how about this memorable moment for Vin Scully?
3rd and 3.
The right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! Dwight Clark! It's a madhouse at Candlestick with 51 seconds left. Dwight Clark is 6'4". He stands about 10 feet tall in this crowd's estimation.
How about that? Vin Scully calling the Joe Montana to Dwight Clark play as well. I mean, the guy literally called almost every memorable moment.
He did, but the thing about Vin, he was so good. They can say this too about John Facenda, who did NFL films for so long, and they used to say this about him. Matter of fact, this is basically how he was discovered by Steve Sable and the Sable family. He could read a grocery list and it would sound unbelievable. And that's basically how I think Facenda was discovered. I mean, there's just voices in broadcasting. Just like Keith Jackson, who was voted by ESPN the greatest voice in college football history, and I would agree with that. You just knew as soon as you hear their voice, first of all, you know who they are. They don't even have to identify themselves. And then it's a great big game. Because why else would they be doing the ball game? I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so, Vin Scully could have broadcasted any sporting event. He could do it all. And he was, just such a great man. The term master of your craft is sometimes overused, just like legend, but he absolutely was. I mean, there was nobody better than Vin Scully.
A couple more here. How about him calling Fernando Valenzuela's no-hitter?
Oh, wow.
There was a short chant, Pedro, Pedro, as they did in Boston in the '86 World Series to try and taunt Strawberry. And now they're doing it to Guerrero, hoping to distract him, hoping to upset him, hoping perhaps to make him try too hard. Fernando ready, and the strike two pitch is hit back to the box, dribbling to second. Samuel on the bag, throws to first, double play. Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter at 10:17 in the evening of June the 29th, 1990. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
Wow.
And the last one we'll go with, how about this one, calling Sandy Koufax's perfect game. By the way, Vin Scully called 3 perfect games in his career.
2-2 to Harvey Keene. 1 strike away. Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung out and missed. A perfect game.
There it is. Vin Scully passing away last night.
Yeah, the only sad thing is he retired and didn't get to broadcast the Dodgers winning their last World Series when they finally got back atop the mountain, a couple of years ago. But what a career he had, and he did it for so long and for such at a high level, and really started at such a young age. He was in so many ways a savant and I knew early on what he wanted to do and was so good at it. And I don't think you'll ever see anybody again, Scott. Think about that. I'll just say it again. The guy at 90 passes away at 94 years old. But in his late 80s he retires, and for 3/4 of his life did the job he did for 67 years. To be the voice of a franchise, there's just no possible way that's probably going to happen. People don't stay in the business that long and have the longevity and have the health and have just his to me, I'll just be honest, you replayed a ton of the calls during his storied career, going all the way back from early in his career with Sandy Koufax to the end, near the end of his career, when he was wrapping it up. And there was no change. The voice was just as strong. I mean, he was just an unbelievable talent and an unbelievable person. And I never had a chance to meet the man. I wished I had.
No, I never did.
And cross paths with him. But, I mean, there's just certain people, when you hear the name Vin Scully, you just think the best of the best. And that's what I thought last night when I started seeing the tweets and everything. And of course, our great producer, Smokey Mike, texted me and said, what calls should I have, ready to go? And then that your stomach kind of sank because you're like, wow, Vin Scully passed away. And he's just irreplaceable, lived a long life, 94 years old. But again, nobody will ever leave a bigger stamp in broadcasting. I know Mel Allen's an Alabama grad and was famous with the Yankees and all that. But even he's not Vin Scully, okay? Vin Scully is just an absolute icon is the best way to put it.
All right. How about this one? I do got to play one more. I lied. I want to get this one in here. This was kind of a funny moment.
That's fertilizer, says Kemp over and over. That is fertilizer.
Instead of saying BS, he called it fertilizer. So anyway.
Well, maybe I should learn to do some of that sometime. I curse.
You've
sometimes.
already got a Drew in there.
Yeah,
you can just add.
I could have a Drew in there. Yeah,
you can add.
I've been told
terms.
by third parties that there are some people that I irritate because of my selective language that I use sometimes. So sometimes maybe I should use fertilizer instead of saying.
Got to get a little more creative.
Yeah,
on
something like
words.
that. I don't know.
Oh,
get a little.
anyway.
Instead of saying that, a couple of curse words, just, say rear end or I don't know.
But you will not substitute dirt neck.
No, because that's not, that's not a curse word.
No, I'm just saying, though. That's one word that you will not.
No. I mean,
that is not open for negotiation.
I did tell our esteemed program director, Steve Moulton, that the other day I got a little fired up and I said something about California and I'll never say it again.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. All right. Let's get a break in because when we come back, Bill Shanks will join us. We'll get his thoughts on Vin Scully and the red hot Atlanta Braves.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We pick up some additional school zones today, so look out in those school zone areas. Accident-wise, the only thing I've heard of was Winchester Road near Riverton Road. Maybe a slowdown in that area for a couple of minutes. No injury reported. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Your Atlanta Braves are battling through the hot weather and big road trips as they look to push for a fifth straight division crown.
Next pitch to Riley. Swung on, hammered to deep center. Hey, the man! Home run!
This afternoon, it's another big division battle at Truist Park in Atlanta as Matt Olson and the Braves get an afternoon game with the Phillies. Braves radio's on the air at 11:05 Eastern, 10:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, It's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. I'm sorry, I can't operate on that vehicle.
But doctor, you took an oath.
That RV, it's my son's RV.
Oh, doctor, isn't there anything you can do?
I'm not a miracle worker, Sheila. I'm an RV surgeon, trained to save the lives of large, injured recreational vehicles, which is definitely a real profession.
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up at noon today. Now, back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back. Talkin' Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 7:25 on a Wednesday morning. Welcome back. It's the halfway point of the work week. Once again, safe travels into work, into school as you make your way in. I know it's the second day of school around the area for a lot of schools, so safe travels in wherever you may be headed on this Wednesday. For that first segment, we really have been reflecting. It's been Major League Baseball talk because we've been reflecting on the voice, the legendary voice of one Vin Scully. And we're going to kind of reflect a little more, but also talk about the Atlanta Braves because the trade deadline has come and gone. The Atlanta Braves that, in fact, Drew, the whole NL East yesterday was very active in trying to get better. The Mets, the Phillies, the Braves. Just so happened that the Braves and the Phillies are playing a little short series.
Yeah, they're playing a 2-game series, and we're going to bring our next guest in, and you can hear him each and every day, Monday through Friday, on the Bill Shanks Show on the superstations.com. He does a great job, and you can hear him from 3 to 7 Eastern time each and every day, and he talks a ton of Atlanta Braves. No one closer to the Braves organization than our next guest, and he's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline this morning to talk about those moves. The Braves making 4 key moves with Alex Anthopoulos strengthening the bullpen, the starting rotation, and the bench, and we're going to talk about that and get some of his thoughts on the passing of the great Vin Scully as well. Bill, good morning. You're with Drew and Scott in Huntsville. How are you?
I'm doing well, Drew. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. And right off the bat, your thoughts on these moves. Ire Adrianza, a great utility guy, a great glue guy that sparked the Braves a year ago. They get him back. They get Robbie Grossman, Jake Odorizzi, who they're very familiar with from the postseason last year, a starting pitcher to lengthen the rotation. And then the last move, Alex Anthopoulos did this last year at the very end of the deadline, made some key moves. Once again, getting Iglesias from the Angels. Just your thoughts.
Well, it's incredible. Once again, he's done it, and the biggest thing is you can sit and argue and debate whether or not he got the right people or he did enough or whatever, but he pretty much did this without giving up much of anything substantial. I mean, with all due respect to the people who left, it's ridiculous. Jesse Chavez was great for this team, Heck, he may have been better than Raciel Iglesias is going to be, for all we know, if he'd have stayed as far as a different role. But, I mean, you're giving up a fringe, interchangeable relief pitcher and a marginal pitching prospect for another team's closer who you've had interest in for several years. He didn't give up anybody for Robbie Grossman, low-level, mid-range pitching prospect. He got rid of a relief pitcher who worried us every time he took the mound, with all due respect to what he did last year in the World Series, the playoffs, which is legendary, and he should be honored every day for the rest of his life for what he did last October and November the 2nd, but he probably needed to go. He was probably on the chopping block to possibly be DFA'd and let go if they'd acquired another relief pitcher or two this week. And then, getting Adrianza back for a double-A outfielder making $236. I mean, hitting $236, I should say. I mean, he did all this, and I sound like I'm sucking up to the man, but I mean, it's ridiculous of how he makes these trades for nothing. And I just laughed out loud yesterday when I was on the air when the tweet came about the trade with Iglesias. It was humorous. And I hope Tucker Davidson goes on to the Angels and does very well, and he should. And they ought to start him from day one, to be honest with you, to see if he can really, for the rest of this year, for the last 2 months, really, truly hit pay dirt. But, my God, I mean, he was so far down the list of even your AAA pitchers and had not been doing well in AAA particularly. And then, again, it's just it's incredible what he's able to do, and I think he is so aggressive, and he does such a good job of making this team better, and that's what he's done the last 2 days.
Was his best deal, though, getting Austin Riley's contract extension done and done so favorable again for the club?
Well, it was a tremendous deal. I mean, he's a cornerstone. He's, I mean, in my opinion, I think other people are seeing what his potential has been and what he's capable of. Obviously, these last 2 months when he's just been on this torrid tear. I'm not saying he's going to keep this up for the next 10 years every single month, but I mean, this is who he is. He's a 30-plus home run, 100 RBI, good average, maybe great defense player. And if you want a replacement for Freddie Freeman, here he is. So I think it was a tremendous deal. And then the reason it was so important, I think, is not only to know what he had financially to play with here this year, but also in years to come. I've said for several weeks and months, really, that, his main priority, really big picture, was getting Riley and Fried locked up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a tweet about Max Fried next at some point. I don't know about today, but I mean, at some point, I think the next biggest move for this team is going to be Max. And then you'll know what you have to deal with Dansby. So it was very critical for him to do that. That Dansby's going to be a more imminent situation. I mean, he could leave the Braves in 3 months. He's not going to be a Brave in 3 months after the World Series over. But if you get Max done, then you know what you've got tied up long term, and you'll know what's kind of quote unquote left for Dansby. So the man just knows what he's doing. He's really good. He's not perfect. I mean, he inherited. When you inherit something, it's like a lot of millionaires who inherit a lot of money from their parents. Hard to screw that up. And he inherited a core that was built for what's going on right now. But look, a lot of people could have screwed it up, and he's taken it and run with it to a new level that has put this organization in the best position it's been in since the 1990s.
Yeah, they have the Matt Olson deal is looking very good. He's had a really solid year replacing an icon like Freddie Freeman. And then, as you said, Bill, we'll see what happens with Dansby Swanson. Probably a more ideal would be a 4 or 5 year deal for him since he's 28 years old. I think he's a perfect fit for the ball club. But as you said, now that you've taken care of Austin Riley with a 10-year deal, if you can take care of Max Fried, then you you kind of know what you need to do with Dansby Swanson, and that's the amazing part. They're going to have the core under control for 5+ years.
Well, the one thing that would be great about having Dansby around for another 5 years is that infield would basically be around for another 5 years. And that to me was one of the unfortunate things about Freeman leaving, was the fact that he kind of loused up that opportunity. The Braves had a very good infield with Freeman, Albies, Swanson, and Riley. We knew that Riley and obviously Albies are going to be around for 5+, and Swanson returns, and Freddie leaving kind of changed that. So now with Olsen in the fray and him locked up for 8 years, it gives you another opportunity to say, okay, is this the infield we want for the next 5 years? And I just, the Dansby's age is a question mark because he's a shortstop, but I think 5 years and $100 million, something around that level would be very fair. And if he turns down $100 million to stay at home and to play ball with the team that he's won a championship with, then he needs to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a great point. We're talking to Bill Shanks, Bill Shanks Show, thesuperstations.com.
Braves get a win last night, Bill, against the Philadelphia Phillies in a quick 2-game series. But what about rookie Spencer Strider? What a performance last night, and what a nice surprise he's been.
Well, I keep on asking. I asked him when we were leaving the ballpark last night. I said, "What the heck do we have here?" And I guess he's telling us. I guess he's describing it and defining what he is. He's a unbelievable pitcher. I mean, this guy's ridiculous. I was there last night. He just carved them up like turkey. It was tremendously impressive. And I'm not saying I was anti-starter for him, but I wanted to see that change up, and I was curious as to what was going to happen when he's faced a team another time. But there's a precision about what he does that's, I hate to say this, it's kind of DeGrom-like, that just kind of scares you a little bit. It's like, again, what the heck do we have here? What is this kid? How good is this kid? And I don't think he's going to the bullpen anytime soon. I think Alex, I watched when I got home the replay of the interview Alex Anthopoulos did on TV, and he was pretty adamant, as he should have been, and that was in the middle of the beginning of watching the performance by Spencer of what was going to happen, which was he's going to stay in that rotation. But my God, what do we have here? How good is this guy? And I mean, it's just going to be fun continuing him to define totally what he is, and that'll go into next year. People are going to, regardless of what he does the next 2 months and what he may do in October, people are going to say going into next year, well, can he do it for a full season? Now that he did it for a part of a season, can he do it for a full season? And I'm certainly going to enjoy sitting back and watching to see if he can continue to show us that he's pretty daggum dominant.
Well, Bill, and with Jake Odorizzi coming into the road, they're going to have a 6-man rotation for a short period of time. But the rest of the season, where do you see it fitting in? Because, Ian Anderson was really good his last time out, but he's been up and down. And then a big start for Charlie Morton this afternoon.
Well, Ian knew that he was going to Gwinnett probably if he didn't do well on Saturday. And that can sometimes inspire you to put or get off the pot, so to speak, and make sure you don't have another performance that makes them want to send you to the minor leagues. I love the Odorizzi acquisition. I mean, they could have gone two ways. They could have gone and gotten a hell-bent playoff starter or someone who could help you out the rest of the year, who maybe can be a playoff starter if need be, if he's pitching well. But I think this acquisition, it does put a little pressure on Freddie. On Charlie and on all of them to do well. I think they'll very carefully space them out a little bit, which I don't really like, and I don't think Brian Sticker likes too much as far as getting them off of a regular deal. But I think, we have to put pampers on pitchers and baby them a little bit and nurse them along a little bit. So having a 6th guy, quote unquote, I think will help a great deal. I mean, this rotation's not had anybody besides the 5 in it now, start since the end of May. And that's been really good. I love that. I think that's the sign of a strength that teams really dream of. And to have a sixth guy you can turn to space out a little bit, to take advantage of your strength and to make sure that your pitchers are not just worn out. I mean, I don't like the wussification of baseball and the wussification of pitching. It drives me crazy. I just anyway, we don't get in that. But I think having an extra starter with what the game has become is not a bad thing at all, and I think it can help. And if it allows your pitchers to be stronger and to be ready to go in October, because it's a different season, we know that. And you've got to be hot in October. You can have a great team. We've seen it so many times over the last forever. You can have a great team. Yankees have had plenty of great teams. They've not always won. Braves in the 90s, I mean, they had plenty of great teams. The 2000 team, the 2003 team, very good teams, outstanding teams, and they weren't hot. They weren't playing good ball at that time. We saw last year you played ball at that time, you were good to go. So to have that strength right now, to hopefully have it to where you're ready to go in October, which I think is the key strategy for winning a championship, I think it's very important.
Yeah, and they're only 2.5 games now behind the Mets. So, I mean, it's going to come down to the Braves and Mets more than likely for this NL East. And it's a race that's probably going to take a good part of this second half of the season to decide.
Well, they've got 5 games in 4 days with the Mets this weekend, and they have to play well. They have to do very, very well, and they need to win the series. That's always their goal. So 3 of 5 would be outstanding. 4 or 5 would be great, and 5 and 5 would shut them the hell up for a while because they're loud and people are talking about them, and I kind of love it. It ticks me off when I watch MLB Network, and it's Dodgers, Mets, Dodgers, Mets. Yesterday before the trade deadline, Dodgers, Mets, Dodgers, Mets. And I'm like, okay. Go ahead and doubt that Alex Top is going to not do something to help this team. And look what he did. He got him another team's closer to make it that bullpen, the sickest bullpen you'll ever see. So, the Braves are going to have to, in these 12 games left against the Mets, they need to play well. There's no question. If they're going to win the division, they're very comfortably ahead in the first wild card spot, and that may not be a bad place to be in, with the exception of the fact that they're going to have to play, as it stands now, San Diego. Which, of course, they changed a little bit yesterday with what they acquired. So, anyway, it's going to be a fun 2 months, and I definitely hope they win the division. That's always the goal for this team, this organization. And, I can't wait for this weekend.
Well, and with Raisel Iglesias, you just talked about having a sick bullpen. How big is that, too, to have him under 3 more years of contract? And really, it lengthens this bullpen even more, Bill.
Well, it does. And Kenley's older. He's on a 1-year deal for $16 million, so in effect, Iglesias can replace him as far as a contract slot. Then you got Kirby Yates coming back. They're going to have 3 closers on this team. Yates pitched last night, and I'm anxious to see if he pitches tonight. If he pitches tonight, back-to-back days, and then he feels good tomorrow, he could be in New York this weekend. Mm-hmm. And, that's just a prediction. That's not the inside knowledge. I just think that the last thing you're wanting to see in a rehab is back-to-back games. So let's see if he pitches tonight. But, Drew, with Kirby Yates, Kenley Jansen, and Raisel Iglesias, you've got 3 of the top 8 pitchers who led the game in saves just 3 years ago. Yates was first, Kenley was 5th, Iglesias was 8th. Nobody has that in their pen right now. This is ridiculous. And so Yates has looked great so far, and to add him is going to be important. So you're basically adding Iglesias and Yates to your bullpen that's already the best in the National League.
Mm-hmm. And finally, Bill, we'd be remiss if we didn't get your thoughts on the great Vin Scully. Baseball is I know your love and your passion, and you love the Braves. You've been following them since 1978, but you can't talk about baseball and broadcasting without Vin Scully.
Well, I was lucky enough to get my picture made with him 6 years ago in his last year.
Wow.
I was in L.A. with the Braves in Vin's last year and practically begged his producer if I was going to have to slip him 100. But I didn't. He graciously grabbed Vin as he was coming out of the copier room, and we had just a real brief hello and where are you from, and just could not have been kinder. I had my picture made with him, and so that meant a lot to me. And he was the best. I mean, my Vin Scully story is that about 15 years ago, when I started getting the Major League Baseball package and would watch the West Coast games, I started listening to this guy, and he would just tell these stories and go on and on and on and on and on. I'm like, where the hell is he getting this stuff from? And so I get media guides every year, or did when they printed the damn things, and I would, like if they were playing the Brewers and I was getting ready for a bunch of Milwaukee Brewers stories, he would start doing a story on the Milwaukee third baseman, and I would bring up his media guide page and say, okay, where's he getting this from? And it wasn't in there. And what he would do is go down to the dugout and talk to players and get their stories.
Oh, yeah.
And remember it and tell it and share it on the air. And it blew me away. And he was already in his 70s. I mean, my God, he was already, pushing 80 at that point. And he was an incredible storyteller. He was just the best. I mean, he was like Frank Sinatra of baseball broadcasters. There'll never be anybody like him.
That's just a great way to put it and to end it. Well, Bill, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to the Braves this afternoon and Charlie Morton taking the mound. Hopefully get another win for Atlanta and 5 in a row and beat the Phillies and sweep them in this 2-game set. But and to continue to climb the standings and catch up to the Mutts. I love that term. But thank you. We always appreciate your time.
That's one of the kinder things I call him, Drew.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Bill. Bill Shanks with us there. Good stuff on the Atlanta Braves as they continue to try to get past the New York Mets in what be an exciting summer and a huge series, huge showdown for the Braves and Mets coming up here very soon. Don't forget Braves Today, 1120, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, your home for the Braves Radio Network. Get that break in. When we come back, wrap up Hour 1, Talking Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck with possible injuries involved. This one's on Bob Wallace, west of Triana Boulevard. Got one working County Line in Browns Ferry that's reported with injury. Cajun Rice is back at Popeyes and their 11-piece chicken family meal, 2 sides, 5 biscuits, now only $22.99. Popeyes University in George, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, blast off. the nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
The Trash Pandas are back and better than ever. Single game tickets for the 2022 Trash Pandas season are on sale now. This season's promotions include all new giveaway items, specialty jerseys, holiday games, and fireworks all season long. Reserve your seat now while you still can at trashpandasbaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hi everybody, Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314. Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
And welcome back, Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And it's the day, Drew, you have been waiting for. Texas A&M practices today for the very first time.
Is there a lie detector out there hooked up somewhere? That's all I want to know.
The Aggies reported to camp yesterday. They practiced for the first time
I'm getting
today.
used to this because I'm on from 9 to 10 on the Blitz. We do the recruiting Blitz as well after this awesome show that we have called Talkin' Ball. And now we have the TVs on, right? So
Okay.
I'm seeing The Price is Right all the time with Drew Carey. And I just keep thinking of I just keep thinking, why can't we just have that out on the field with dirt next? So every time he tells a lie,
it just goes
they do. Yeah, and you remember those that have those red X's, remember?
Right.
When it would be wrong. Or
well, I got asked yesterday out in public, just because you have gone off so much on Texas A&M that people ask me now, what happened to Texas A&M? Why is their recruiting class not where it's supposed to be right now?
They're waiting to, at least that's their spin, that they're waiting until November and December for their place for some guys to offer them a bunch of money to, become ATM Aggies and lose.
Anyway, Texas A&M does have a quarterback battle. We're going to keep an eye on that one.
Both of them will stink. Or at least when they go to the NFL, it's pretty much an albatross. You're guaranteed to suck. So you might as well get out of town as fast as you can, just like Zach Calzada did, because he knew he'd never amount to much with a mutton head like that coaching him. See, I didn't cuss.
No, but you said dirt neck is fine to say, but you went mutton head instead on him.
It's a different term.
Jeff from the Borough with us this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
What's up, Jeff?
Well, just not too awful much, but Kentucky raised $2.5 million last night for flood
Awesome.
relief. So.
That's good news.
Yeah, because I know that hasn't the death toll reached at least 30, Jeff? I mean, it's been bad.
37.
Yeah, I saw some more video yesterday, and it's heartbreaking to say the least.
Yes, no question.
They're gonna find more. They're not gonna find anybody now. They're gonna find bodies now. So, unfortunately, but they raise that much, but they're gonna raise more, I'm sure. But they're gonna play Gonzaga this year too. They're gonna play a home and home series with them. So they're going to Spokane this year, and they're gonna come to Rupp next year. So that's just puts half a dozen games on. Well, more than that. But
it's good for the sport.
Conference games, men's basketball. So just puts more games on us. But that's just part of it. That's what we do. So that's what Cal Prairie's done. He's done it in the past when Haiti had the earthquake and the tornadoes in Kentucky. He's done it before. The players wanted to do it. So it's something he's done in the past. He'll do it again, like he says. As long as he's in that seat, that's what he's supposed to do as a basketball coach in his state in Kentucky. That they realize that that's a part of their duty, not really duty, but part of their spiel in the state. That fans love them all over the state, and they realize that. So players wanted to do it, and they had the open practice yesterday. I'm sure it was packed. So the Gills, people wanting to watch them before they leave for the Bahamas next week. So they got 4 games over there, and it'll break the monotony of all the football games on SEC Network. We actually have something live to watch instead of games from 2012 or 2010 or whatever the hell is going on. So, but and as far as A&M goes, I don't know why y'all worried about it. They got 4 months, and the thing about it is it's legal now. And the thing about Jimbo that I like, he told Saban last year he's going to whip him, and he actually did. He backed it up. That's the bottom line. And Saban's got a chance now to beat him this fall, see if he can. So that's the only thing about it. I mean, Fisher won title at Florida State, and he ain't won at A&M. I agree, they've got all kinds of resources. But when you tell Saban you're going to whip him and back it up, maybe that's pretty good. I can tell you that right now. Not many people's going to do it. So what he did. So so you can call him dirt neck all you want to, but he did beat Saban last year. So y'all hang in there, guys, and have a good one.
Yeah, he did beat Saban. There's no doubt about that.
He got one.
And I'm gonna have to say it. Sorry, all these people, all these folks, but I'm gonna use the vernacular. I'm not gonna change this one. But even the sun shines on a dog's ass one day.
So he mentioned that Jimbo Fisher and Jeff from the Borough mentioned that not too many people have done that, and he's right. So under Nick Saban, Auburn has the most wins against Alabama, 5. LSU has 4. Clemson, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M have 2. Mm-hmm. Ohio State, Utah, Oklahoma, La Monroe, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Florida, Florida State have 1. That's it. Teams with a win versus Alabama in the Nick Saban era. That's it.
Yeah, and Gus Malzahn had 3 of them, and that's why he lasted as long as he did as head coach, because that was played up. I mean, he beat Nick Saban more than anybody did. I mean, people forget Tuberville beat Saban in the first year, 17-10, because DJ Hall couldn't catch the ball in the back of the end zone, and cemented his legacy, even though his brightest moment was against Tennessee in that same season. But again, DJ never quite, became what he probably should have been. And then Gene Chizik, 2010, we all know that, the comeback game, the magical year that Auburn had. And then 3 times under Gus Malzahn, and that's why Gus had about nearly a decade run at Auburn. And so Tuberville had, a decade plus 2, because he won 6 in a row. The key at Auburn, you have to contend for championships, but you must hold your own against Alabama. If you hold your own, you will be there for a while. Because if you're beating Alabama, you're also going to have a good team.
Right.
And so, especially during the Nick Saban era with the Crimson Tide. And so, to me, it says a lot for our state, and that's a true rivalry. That's what I've said 1,000 times. When they talk about it, really kind of grinds my gears when these national morons get on there and talk about how Ohio State and Michigan is the biggest rival. It's not even a rivalry.
We had to sit next to, in the College Football Hall of Fame, they have, I guess you could say, columns that are rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
We had to sit next to the Michigan-Ohio State one for 4 days, and all you had to read was, it is such the biggest game in college football, they call it simply the game.
I mean, I thought that's what they called Stanford and Cal, but I mean, I understand that's over in the land of fruits and nuts here. But again, and Michigan did finally win last year, okay, finally. But that was after 15 beatdowns in a row. It was basically Alabama-Tennessee for a long time, okay. That's not a rivalry and most of them were blowouts, okay.
Well, to me,
Alabama-Auburn is a rivalry.
Yes, to me the biggest one. Army-Navy.
Well, yeah, and because it's not for national titles and stuff, but I would agree with that. I mean,
but
look at last year because Navy upset Army and Navy wasn't very good, but they beat Army.
That one there means a little bit more than any one of the other ones. Alabama, Auburn, right there, then Michigan, Ohio State.
Especially in this day and time in this country, Army Navy means even more, and I'm sure Joe don't even know who won.
All right. Let's get a break in. CBS Sports is ranked all 131. The AP poll's coming out later this month. That's the one that means something for right now. But CBS says we've got 131 teams we ranked.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They never found that wreck on Bob Wallace west of Triana. We do have one working, though, county line in Browns Ferry. That one had some injury involved. And we've added some more school zones this morning. They may be running a little late, so be careful around those school areas. Snelling has immediate need for a staff accountant. This is direct hire for a downtown Huntsville location. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A couple of isolated showers possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. It does look like many of us are probably going to end up staying dry. Typical summer afternoon across the Tennessee Valley for sure. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 90s, dropping into the upper 60s and lower 70s as we head into the overnight. Another partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Braves and Phillies again tonight. Atlanta -135 on the money line in Game 2. Philadelphia at +125, 7.5 the set total. The NFL preseason kicks off tomorrow in Canton, Ohio, part of Hall of Fame week. The Raiders will take on the Jaguars, with Jacksonville currently a 1-point favorite in the exhibition. The over-under set at 30.5. Preseason for the rest of the league will begin the following week. UFC Fight Night Saturday in Vegas, a highly anticipated light heavyweight bout between Thiago Santos and Jamal Hill. Hill a solid -275 favorite, Santos at +215. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, hour 2 is officially underway here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Hour 1 was spent kind of reflecting a little bit on the passing of Hall of Fame legendary broadcaster Vince Scully. We also talked a little bit about the Braves, and we ended hour 1 by talking some college football because Texas A&M, the latest school to hit the practice fields. And Jeff was like, I don't know why you guys are consumed with A&M. It's not that we are consumed with them. Tennessee,
I don't like liars.
No, Tennessee started the week off first. They were the first SEC team to hit the practice field. They opened camp on Monday. They got everything underway. Texas A&M was on the field today. They open up camp today. Auburn gets ready to open up camp this week. Alabama gets ready to open up camp this week. Yep. We're just highlighting the ones that are opening up camp as they go. And today just so happened to be
Dirt Neck
Texas
University.
A&M, who every time you mention them is a lightning rod for conversation somehow, some way.
Yeah, and then as you just mentioned, in our state, Alabama will take the field tomorrow for the first day of fall camp. And then the Auburn Tigers, and we'll talk some Auburn Tigers this hour with Nathan King, team reporter for Auburn Undercover, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. Auburn will take the field on Friday. So we will have conversation the rest of the week, and we'll finally have fall camp. And as you mentioned earlier in the week, Jacksonville State's already got cranked up with Rich Rodriguez.
Practiced in full pads yesterday for the very first time this season. Florida State practiced in full pads yesterday for the first time because they play and if you were listening to yesterday's conversation with Jay Crane, you can't understand why everybody calls it week 0.
Yeah.
But Florida State plays in week 0. Tennessee is right there. They play on a Thursday night, so that's why Tennessee got started a little bit before everybody else. CBS, so later, what is this? Only August 3rd. CBS released 131 rankings yesterday of the football teams. The AP poll will come out later this month.
So that is worthless. I mean, all these preseason polls.
But the AP poll is what we start with, and really, we say it is worthless. Tommy Tuberville might say that the AP poll means a whole lot because remember back in 2004, the AP poll had Auburn ranked really low. And that's the
reason. Yeah, they didn't play for a national championship.
Right. That is what cost them a spot in the national title game.
Now, I'll say it again. That was a great Auburn team led by Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown and Jason Campbell and all those great players. And they went undefeated, beat Virginia Tech in the Sugar Bowl. But that's the way that team needs to be remembered. It didn't need to play USC that year because if it had, it would have been ugly, just like it was in 2003. People forget
Borges
that.
Joined us and said he thought they could have won that game.
Yeah. Love Coach Borges. I hope his book sells really, really well. I think it will because that was an unforgettable Auburn team and an unbelievable Auburn team. But just remember what happened in Auburn in 2003, the year before, when they played Southern Cal. They didn't want any of that smoke then, and they wouldn't have wanted any of it that year either. I'm sorry. I just don't think – I don't remember how bad – now, could that Auburn team have beaten Oklahoma? Yes. Okay? I think they probably were the second-best team. I think they would have beaten Oklahoma. But just remember how bad that USC team beat Oklahoma. It was probably the biggest beatdown Bob Stoops ever took. Okay.
Oh, easily.
It was
easily.
I believe it was 55-10, and it wasn't even that close. I'm just telling you. That way you remember that Auburn team for being undefeated. You can always say what if, but they didn't want any of that smoke with that USC team. That USC at that period of time was on another level. Okay.
Yeah.
And Pete Carroll had it rolling.
That
and they
was
were
the
best
team that money could buy.
Well, Will Ferrell probably. That was probably NIL Will Ferrell back then. I mean, he and Snoop used to go to practice all the time.
Anyway, so CBS has ranked all 131 college football teams. No shock inside the top 5, really. Alabama's 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Utah 4, Clemson 5. Mm-hmm. Those are the top 5.
Yeah, and remember, Utah opens in the swamp. That's fascinating.
Ooh.
With Billy Napier and the Heat and all that stuff.
Yesterday we were talking about upsets. We said, Alabama, Texas, is it Notre Dame, Ohio State? We gave 3, Georgia, Oregon, those 3 games. Possible upset alert for Alabama, Ohio State, or a Georgia. What about that one? Can Billy Napier shock the college football world in the early season and Florida? Because, the cupboard's not completely bare there in Florida. Not at all. There was a little dip there. Mm-hmm. But could Billy Napier and Florida shock Utah in week?
I don't think there's any question about it. I think Kyle Whittingham is underrated and does a great job. Our good friend Mike Detillier always talks about Kyle Whittingham and goes far back with his family and his dad and everything like that. And he's been at Utah for a long time. He took over for Urban Meyer and has kept it rolling over there. And now they've made that transition to the Pac-12 where they're a contender in the league. And they they've won a Pac-12 title now. They can compete in the Power 5, but still, it's the swamp, and it's going to be hot. It's going to be early, and at least this will be a healthy Florida team. You get them early. Right. There'll be a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement over Billy Napier's debut, and I think the Gators can upset them. I'll call it. I think Florida will beat them. Because, again, you know how much I think the Pac-12, how good I think the Pac-12 is? Not.
Right, because, you think about it right now, Utah and Oregon, right? Because Lincoln Riley, what is Lincoln Riley going to do in year 1 under USC?
Well, they've got Caleb Williams, they've got Jordan Addison, and they were hyping it up at Pac-12 Media Days because Jordan Addison made some behind the back, whatever, some kind of catch. He's a great player. He won the Biletnikoff Award, then claimed he came to USC because he wanted to win a championship. Yeah, okay. He came to USC because he got paid a ton of money. And because look, he won an ACC title in another weak sauce conference with the Pitt Panthers. They had a great year. He played with a first-round draft pick QB. They took a quarterback who was very productive at the previous place, Keaton Slovis. I still think he would have been able to get Addison the ball. He took the money because he wanted to come to Hollywood, and he got paid more NIL money than Pitt could pay. Okay, because Will Ferrell gave him a donation, whatever. That's the whole reason. It had nothing to do with Lincoln Riley. Sure, he loves their system, but he's never played a day in it. Look, it was a money grab. Call it what it is, okay? USC needed players because they've sucked for years and been irrelevant, and so they went out and they poached the best receiver because they need weapons for Caleb Williams because they've SUCK'd for a long time in that parlance. Now, USC can really be relevant again quickly because Lincoln Riley is a really good coach who won a lot of games at Oklahoma, really good offensive mind. They can tackle, and we'll see if they'll be any better in that league. And I would be a little worried because Lincoln kind of had a yellow streak down his back because he wanted no part of the SEC because he knew he'd get his tail whipped. But again, now it gives him an easier path to try to get back to the playoff and lose, which he did with regularity at Oklahoma.
You're 6 through 10. You're 6 through 10 in the CBS 131. Notre Dame 6, Oklahoma 7, Michigan 8, Texas A&M 9, and Baylor 10. That's how your CBS 131 top 10 looks like. Sitting just outside the top 10, some interesting groups. NC State, USC, Oklahoma State, Oregon, Wisconsin are your top 15. Arkansas, Cincinnati, Penn State, Miami, and Michigan State are 16 through 20. Wake Forest, Houston, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Pittsburgh top your top 25. Remember, early on, Tennessee in week 2, Tennessee will travel to Pittsburgh. So that is an interesting matchup there for Josh Heupel and company as they will go on the road to Pittsburgh early on in the season.
Because last year when they had Nuke LaLoosh at quarterback to start the season, Joe Milton, they actually got off to a 14-0 lead against Pitt, and then he hit the bull a couple times, and then they couldn't stop anybody. And we saw what Jordan Addison did, and Kenny Pickett, who will probably be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They can't actually put Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. I mean, are you kidding me? You just spent a first-round draft pick on a guy in your backyard. You got to play the rookie.
Can't be a lollygagger.
No, you just can't. Or a run-a-mucker or whatever.
I'm going to go lollygagger.
Or run-a-mucker.
I used lollygagger the other day. I said, what are we all, lollygaggers? And everyone looked at me like I was crazy.
And I was like, classic line.
I was like, have you guys not seen Boulder? Anybody in this
room?
Throw
the bats in the shower. I mean, come on. That is awesome.
And everybody looked at me
lollygaggers.
I was like, huh?
Oh, how old are these people?
Oh, they had to be about 25.
That's
26.
why, because they've never seen it.
Oh, they've never.
I mean, come on. Come on, lollygaggers. You have to. I mean, I was sad when I heard the guy passed away, okay, that played the manager that said that iconic line in a baseball movie. Like Kevin Costner said, Crash Davis, scare him. And he threw bats in the shower.
Anybody in the shower in 10 seconds gonna get fined $100. Larry, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Robert Wool, you gotta love it.
6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. You guys, you lollygag the ball around the infield. You lollygag your way down to first. You lollygag in and out of the dugout. Do you know what that makes you, Larry? Lollygaggers.
You went Nick Malouche on Kenny Pickett, so I had to work in lollygaggers somewhere in the show.
That that scene, and then the baseball through the window. Hit me, meat. I'll kill you. Well, I heard you couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat. Those are the 2 greatest scenes in the history of the movie.
So can Tennessee find a win if they fall out of the boat in Pittsburgh?
I mean, the baseball through the window, that was Joe Milton. Okay? I mean, guy could throw 99 miles an hour.
Right.
I mean, he can throw a football 80 yards. He just can't hit a target. Okay? And it's just like at the end of the Ole Miss game, I still can't get over it. I don't know if you mean the mustard game, where they're throwing the mustard. I mean, they run the last play, Scott. Throw it in the end zone, you can win the game. He runs out of bounds. Doesn't even throw the ball. I mean, are you kidding me? I'm like, just throw it, dude. You've got the strongest arm on the team, and you have no awareness. You run out of bounds. You should never play another down.
Right to the bench.
Pretty much. Where he belongs.
Where Hendon Hooker then takes over. Yeah.
I mean, Hendon Hooker got banged up, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You didn't. I think it was 31-26. Just throw the ball, bro. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that is Joe Milton to the nth degree. I mean, a supremely physically talented dude doesn't have a clue from the neck up, and he pulled a Jalen Hurts and just ran out of bounds.
Inside the CBS 131 rankings, 47, 48, 47, 49, and 50 are intriguing for one reason. Because all of their coaches face a little bit of uncertainty. Number 47 is Auburn, 49 is Nebraska, and 50 is Florida State. Brian Harsin, you got Mike Norvell, and then you have the Nebraska situation. So all three teams there inside the top 50, but all three have very interesting storylines surrounding the new year. 47 Auburn, 49 Nebraska and Scott Frost, and 50 with Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State's fascinating just because I don't know how much better they're going to get.
Right.
I mean,
we don't know how much better Nebraska is going to be.
Oh, if Nebraska loses in Dublin, they might as well just leave Scott Frost over there.
Right. And then you have Auburn at 47, and we think Auburn will be better than what the projections are, but we don't know. South Carolina, they put at number 53, UAB 57, Memphis 64, Army 65. Not good news for Herm Edwards. Arizona State 72, Stanford 71. In what could be an awful, dreadful Pac-12 outside of Oregon, Utah, and USC. Because Cal's it's number 75.
Right.
Arizona's 91. I mean, Troy is 95 for goodness sake. And they got Arizona at 91.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna be rooting hard for. It's gonna be really hard, difficult. But man, I'm gonna be the biggest Troy fan ever in Oxford, Mississippi when they take the field that first game. Man.
Good news for Vanderbilt. They open the season at Hawaii. Hawaii checks in at number 123 out of 131.
Yeah.
So come on, Vanderbilt. They check in at number 113, by the way, though. They check in at 113, does Vanderbilt. So.
Oh, I got to give B. Rich so much credit for this.
What did he do now?
He's listening, and
is he going?
He sent us another classic Bull Durham scene that I'd forgot about. This is such a great movie. When they have the huddle on the mound.
The wedding. What do we get for the wedding?
The candlesticks.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
I mean, Robert Wool is just a treasure, man. Are you kidding me? I mean, he's just unbelievable.
Oh, man.
We're dealing with some serious S, man. And see, I can't say that on the radio.
No, that is the one where if you are going to come up with a new vernacular,
yeah.
That one,
some serious turd.
Manure.
Manure.
Vin Scully
or manure.
used.
Yeah, manure.
Yes.
Or fertilizer. Is that what he called it?
I'm a little nervous. My old man's here. Your dad's here? Where's he at? He's right behind home plate. Don't look. Don't look. Look, he's waving. Hey, he's just your old man. He's as full of shit.
Well, there we go. Whoops. Won't want to play that clip anymore. Apparently, when you use the movie clips, it doesn't edit them out. Whoops. Oh, well.
That's why we have a dump button.
That is why we have it. If you could, I don't know if I have the clean version of that. That's what I get for doing this on the fly.
That's the reason why I didn't even touch it, because I knew I would have to do a little bit of editing.
Yeah, I didn't anyway, yeah. We wanted to play the movie clip thing, but I don't know if it was clean. Was it clean? I don't think it was clean.
I doubt it.
I don't think the people will know except for the stream.
Yeah.
Whoops. Not the first time we've let one get... At least you didn't let it get through the 5-hole there.
Yeah,
so
there
good catch by you.
Thank you, Smokey.
Yeah. All right, let's get a break in. Be Rich, we were going to play it for everybody.
Yeah.
We kind of ruined that.
We gave it a shot.
Yeah, we're going to talk Auburn football next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Been working a wreck on County Line at Browns Ferry. That one reported as an injury type. That's our only working accident. Heavy traffic load. We picked up some additional school zones today, so you be careful all across the valley. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Your Atlanta Braves are battling through the hot weather and big road trips as they look to push for a 5th straight division crown.
Next pitch to Riley. Swung on, hammered to deep center. Hey, the man! Home run!
This afternoon, it's another big division battle at Truist Park in Atlanta as Matt Olson and the Braves get an afternoon game with the Phillies. Braves radio's on the air at 11:05 Eastern, 10:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Kerry Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
It's been said that there are 3 things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and car commercials. But actually, there's a 4th certainty, the Woody Anderson Ford Rate Lock, that allows you to lock in a finance rate when you factory order a 2023 F-150, Explorer, or Bronco Sport. No more rolling the dice on a future finance rate. Lock it in as low as 2.9% APR for up to 60 months at Woody Anderson Ford today. And while we're featuring 23 F-150, Explorer, and Bronco Sport, this rate lock offer also includes 2023 models of Ranger, Edge, Maverick Gas, and Transit Connect. With approved credit, offer ends 9/5. It's the Summer Supercharged Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. And with your trade being worth as much as 30% more than last year, it's a great time to make your move. Oh, and check our Ford Gold certified vehicles too. Low mileage, great warranty, and a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Swing by today. The Summer Supercharged Sales Event, Woody Anderson Ford.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Welcome back, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and you never know what you're going to find out during the commercial break. And we had a great call there during the commercial break,
right?
Wanting to know if you, Drew DeArmond, were related to any kin, Kelly DeArmond, in the Arab area, because and our kind listener was wanting to know, because when we say Union Grove, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, he thought maybe that's what we referred and why we referred to it. But when we say Union Grove, that is where the tower is at. So our tower is located in Union Grove, but tried to do a little family history, a little family tree there to find out if you were related or anything to Kelly DeArmond back in the day from A-Rab. Pretty good quarterback, I think I found out in the A-Rab days.
Yeah, and I think so. I would imagine distantly. Again, my father's biological father, it would have been my grandfather, passed away when he was very young, and then my grandmother remarried Huey Henry. But yes, I mean, there's no doubt that I believe that very, very high likelihood, and we appreciate him listening and wanting to know and getting that clarified. And now we're going to talk some Auburn. One of the best things about being in Atlanta for SEC Media Days in that week was getting a chance to get FaceTime and touch base with folks that's been on your show and been a big part of it. This next guest does a great job as the team reporter for Auburn Undercover, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. He covers really Auburn athletics in its entirety, recruiting as well. Does a great job. But Nathan King is going to join us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Nathan, thank you for taking the time. We know it's a busy one. You're about to have fall camp open up on Friday, but great to talk some Auburn with you. Welcome back to Huntsville on 97.7 The Zone. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited. Kind of taking this last day before we get Harsin tomorrow to decompress as much as possible and just kind of chill out and get ready for, like you talked about. It gets pretty crazy here in a couple days.
Yeah, and crazy is one way to define, I guess, the quarterback position battle. As soon as camp opens tomorrow, I mean, from stretching on, everyone's going to be looking at Zach Calzada because we did not get to see him at all during the spring.
Oh, yeah. I know y'all are ready for that.
Yeah.
It's ready for the YouTube videos, the photos, just dudes.
Yep, the stretching, the running.
Exactly, in a practice jersey and shorts, and everybody's full as much as they can. Hey, you know what? I'm going to be the chief offender. I'm sure I will have like a YouTube video talking about it. So, I mean, yeah, that's just part of it. But yeah, I mean, it's so interesting because having a guy like a Zach Calzada, where so much of the consensus at the moment is that he's going to be their starting quarterback. And I want to say he's never taken a snap at Auburn. Of course he hasn't, but he's never even taken a snap in practice before. I mean, he was out for the entirety of spring. TJ Finley, who's the returning guy, commanded all of those first-team reps, and yet he just didn't take the step forward the staff wanted to see. They wanted to have more control of that offense. They wanted to have him a little bit more of an explosive passing game, push the ball down the field. Really, the feeling among this program is that if they're going to succeed at all in the passing game this season in terms of that verticality in the passing game, Zach Calzada is going to be their guy, probably 85, 90% chance at the moment. So I'm interested to see, what happens over the first couple weeks in terms of distributing those reps. I would think Finley probably comes in and gets the default first-team reps, and then Brian Harsin said it'll only take about a week, and then things will start to get evened out. Everybody will get even reps, and that'll give the staff an opportunity to say, who should be taking the ones at the moment. So maybe this time next week we'll be talking about, hey, Zach Calzada is finally running the first-team offense a little bit. What does he look like? And so it'll be interesting to see how things progress until that point.
And we haven't had a chance to speak with you on the show since, but what did you take away from Harsin at SEC Media Days? I thought he looked much more settled and comfortable in year two.
He did a great job. I mean, he executed your game plan, I guess you could say, in terms of getting up on a stage and having the right things to say. I thought the way he addressed the stuff from February was perfect. It's exactly what you needed to do. He didn't turn his nose up at any sort of indication of reporters wanting to ask about it. This is a national audience. When you go to media days, he understood people were going to be inquisitive about it because these people hadn't seen him since last season. We have, obviously, but most everybody does, in the SEC doesn't. And so he did a good job putting a pin in it and just saying, look, that I've said my piece about it over and over again. This is the last time I will talk about it, but I'm glad to give my opinions on it one last time. And just like you said, his kind of demeanor is sort of indicative of the entire program. Just talking to people over the past couple of weeks, it really seems like I was told by somebody, wait till you see what we have recorded for the pregame stuff, like in the stadium. And I'm like, oh boy. So I think that this program and this team right now are sort of saying, look, if this all goes crashing down and this ends in the staff being fired, so be it. We're going to do it our way. Let us coach how we want to coach. Let us run the program how we want. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At the same time, if it ends up being successful, you've got a completely bought-in program right now, and guys that really rallied around Harsin after what happened in the offseason. So it'll go one of two ways because, I hate to be so black and white there, but they have to have a good season in order for him to stay. And so if you have a good season, that's really good, and you'll probably have some good recruiting momentum, and you'll be going into year 3 maybe feeling a little bit better. The other side of that is him getting fired. There's pretty much no middle ground at the moment, and so that makes for a pretty exciting season. I'm definitely, every single game is going to matter a lot for the future of this football program, and so we've been talking about it all offseason. So I'm obviously really excited to see what happens once they finally get onto the field.
Yeah, Nathan King with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Nathan, is there a position that you can put your finger on and say, you know what, we have kind of undersold this position a little bit for Auburn. It's actually a really good spot for them on the field. Is there a position that we can put our finger on and say, hey, we're kind of underselling this position?
Yeah, what comes to mind for me, I think defensive line is kind of consensus, the strength of the team. You've got a couple NFL players there. You've got a lot of depth there. You've got a couple really good pass rushers that round things out. Maybe the cornerbacks is what comes to mind first, because it's not often you lose, a first-team All-American in Roger McCreary. He was absolutely a fantastic player. Last season became an early second-round pick. But the two guys that they have to replace him there, Jalen Simpson and Nehemiah Pritchett, we've been hearing their names a lot over the last year. It's not like they're getting thrust into, the starting rotation just all of a sudden. They've been cutting their teeth. Jalen, both of them have been starters before for multiple games. Jalen Simpson was a starter last year. He sort of battled injuries. Nehemiah Pritchett sort of split reps with Donovan Kaufman at that nickel spot. Now it seems, and he wasn't as good there. It seems like they'll move him back to that boundary cornerback spot where he was a lot more efficient in the 2020 season. And so, as coverage duos go in the SEC, I don't have a list of all of them in front of me, but I would think that those guys have the potential to be pretty high up there just because of what they've proven at Auburn so far. Both of them have been very capable of having lockdown coverage games. Both of them are ball hawks. Nehemiah Pritchett in particular has had a couple picks in his career, and he had a near pick 6 against LSU in 2020. He's the fastest player on the roster, you ask anybody. He's also going to be returning kicks this year. He had a returned block punt for a touchdown last year. So you're talking about some explosive athletes out there. I think maybe you're figuring things out at that safety spot. Obviously, losing Smoke Monday, which, by the way, saw his injury yesterday. Hope the best for him with the Saints. But losing a guy like that as a 4-year contributor is never going to be easy. So maybe they'll lean on that cornerback group while they're still working things out at safety. And yeah, that'll probably be my pick, is that cornerback spot. They've got good depth there too. They bring in DJ James, who was a starter at Oregon last season, and that's a talented defense under Mario Cristobal. Not necessarily an easy thing to do, and he's kind of your number 3 corner at the moment, and then a couple other interesting names behind him. So cornerback might be the position where we're looking at, both Nehemiah Pritchett and Jalen Simpson having an opportunity, probably not as high as draft picks, but maybe by season's end they'll both have, both of them will have an opportunity to follow in Roger McCreary's footsteps and turn pro.
Well, we're talking to Nathan King, Auburn Undercover, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. And then offensively, of course, everybody's going to be looking at the battle between Zach Calzada and TJ Finley. But really, as you wrote for 24/7 Sports yesterday, one of the wild card really offensively to me, and the most interesting position group, though, to play itself out is wide receiver.
Yeah, you have to see something. You've got to have guys emerge. I'm having deja vu. I feel like we probably talked about this before last fall camp. It's this exact same thing, because last fall camp, they were losing Eli Stove. They lost their top 3 guys, so maybe it's not as dire. Last year we were talking about they lost Eli Stove, they lost Seth Williams, and they lost Anthony Schwartz. This year you lose Kobe Hudson and Demetrius Robertson. Kobe Hudson was a big, big loss, because if you actually, obviously he was the leader in terms of the stat sheet at wide receiver, but you were watching the games in terms of skill level and consistency, pretty far and away he was their top option at wide receiver. And so who's going to replace him there? Who's going to emerge as the number 1 guy? We've heard so many good things. Drew, you were at media days hearing about it. Corey Moore just kept on popping. That was a name that was really popular. I was told he might have the best hands on the team. He could be a guy who could emerge as a starter, talking about the LSU transfer. Javarius Johnson-Ike from Hewitt-Trussville. I mean, I really, really like what he brings to the table. It's just he can't stay healthy over the past few seasons. When he has been healthy, I mean, he took like a 60-yard swing pass to the house against Mississippi State. He had like an 80-yard touchdown against Arkansas. A very explosive player when he can actually stay healthy. And then Shedrick Jackson is the fifth-year senior out of Hoover. Excellent leader for this group. Brian Harsin really, really wanted to get him back and have him exercise that COVID season, which he did, to be back for a fifth year. And they've got a couple younger names that are interesting. Tarvarish Dawson is a former four-star recruit who has the look of being an SEC wide receiver, one of the fastest guys on the team. He hasn't necessarily caught a pass yet. He hasn't logged a stat, but maybe a guy who could break in there. And then one of the most interesting players on the entire team, who I had written about yesterday, I'd like to talk about one of those wild cards, is Landon King, and that's just because he's a true hybrid player. He moved from tight end to wide receiver, and it's really not difficult to see why when you watch some of what he did toward the end of last season. He's 6'5", 230 pounds. They don't have anybody on the roster like him, and I think the last thing for him to do is to change that number. He's got to get out of number 40 and go to some sort of good wide receiver number. Get a guy who's 6'5", get him wearing number 12 or something, and he'll be first team All SEC. But I think lots of interesting names, but they've got to get consistency out of them this fall camp. Otherwise, it's not going to matter who wins that quarterback competition.
I know it's a position that we don't mention a lot, but I'm just curious because I've not seen anything, and I'm sure he's healthy. But is Anders Carlson all good to go?
Yeah.
For the kicking job again?
Yeah, so he's been working a ton this summer without any sort of brace, and obviously that has been one-on-one work in the facility. It's not scrimmage setting. It's not on the practice field. It's not wearing pads. I think it's the cautious optimism at the moment. Brian Harsin seems to think he will be ready for week one. I just wonder when the rubber hits the road. And you've got a guy like an Alex McPherson. They've got the number one kicker recruit in the class. He enrolled for the summer, which is obviously, if you're Auburn, it's not surprising. You should probably get the number one kicker recruit whenever you want to. But having a guy like him, and with your first two games being against non-Power 5 teams, I wonder about rushing Anders Carlson back into things when you're playing Mercer and you've got the best kicker recruit in the country to kind of hang on for a little bit until he's ready to go. But all indications from the coaching staff seems to be that he'll be ready for week one. So I'll be interested to see once we'll be out on the practice field on Friday. I'll be interested to see what kind of work he's getting in. If Anders Carlson is kicking and has no sort of restrictions or anything like that, absolutely he'll be ready to go for week one. And look, that's a testament to him and a testament to this medical staff as well, because that was a torn ACL very late last season. That was week 11 that he tore his ACL. Now, it wasn't his kicking leg, but at the same time, that plant leg is almost just as important for a kicker, and you need a lot of power in that knee to be able to plant on it, and boot the ball 80 yards on a kickoff. And so, that'll be really impressive for him if he's able to get back week one. And obviously, Anders Carlson he's a great guy. He's been a great leader for this team. So you love to see that, for him to be able to have a recovery like that.
And speaking of programs that have come so far and become such a big part of this, and everybody's looking forward to football camp starting on Friday, but I think Auburn fans are also glued to the live streams and social media, and you have to still call it a debut because, again, it is still the summer, but what a first chapter in the trip to Israel for Bruce Pearl and Auburn basketball.
Yeah, I mean, number one, that was super fun. I mean, it's just something that has just not been standard for this program throughout its history, as y'all very well know. Mm-hmm. For them to be able to carve out a chunk of time on ESPN and, have Jay Billis over there hanging out with your team and calling the games. And, I mean, pretty much the whole halftime programming yesterday for that game was just a whole recruiting pitch for Auburn. It was like a 15-minute interview with Bruce Pearl, because SEC basketball isn't going on right now. But, I mean, like you said, it is a debut of sorts for these guys. At the same time, playing in practice jerseys, so you can't place too much weight onto everything. But you were able to glean some stuff yesterday from what was essentially ended up being a glorified scrimmage. It only took a few minutes for them to get comfortable, and then, I mean, it was the Israeli under-20 national team, and completely overmatched, obviously, in terms of size and athleticism and speed. And as I understand it, there were some players from that team who weren't playing as well because they had just played in some European championships just last week, and so those guys were saying, "Oh, that's okay. I'll hang out and rest for a little bit. I don't need to get blasted by a college team coming over here and playing us." But the thing is that the competition level is just going to continue to rise for them, and so that'll be really interesting to see what we can learn about this team as they play better opponents over there in Israel. On Sunday, they are going to play the Israeli Select All-Star team. As I understand it, there are 2 leagues there, 2 professional leagues. And so it'll be all-stars from one of those leagues. So if everything goes according to plan, you're talking about, I guess, half of the best players in playing professionally in the country at the moment. And then the last game is one that, Bruce Pearl probably thinks they could lose this game. The last one is against the Israel national team, straight up. And we're talking about, his name escapes me, but there's a player for the Washington Wizards who's like a rotational shooting guard who is expected to play for that team on Monday. So you're talking about 19-year-old college kids and freshmen in Chance Westry for Auburn. He'll be on the court against an NBA player, and so that's something that you don't get to do very often, and it'll be a very high level of competition for them. And so I'm interested to see whether some of these trends that we saw in this first game. Dylan Cardwell with a decent-looking offensive skill set. Chance Westry went out and looked really impressive. Their newcomers in the front court, Janai Broom and Johan Traor, looked really impressive. Obviously, they were towering over everybody else. Interested to see how much of those trends continue over these next few games. But on the whole, this trip is about so much more than basketball for them. It's obviously something very special to Bruce Pearl, and he's excited to be there with his team. And it'll be interesting to see what happens over the course of the week in these final 2 games.
Well, and then also, as you talked about it being a recruiting infomercial with Jay Billis, they just got some good recruiting news for the 2023 class.
Yes, I mean, if you made a point guard in a lab for a Bruce Pearl offense, he'd probably look pretty close to Aiden Holloway with the 2023 high 4 stars. A guy that maybe could be a 5-star by the time things are all said and done in the 2023 class. Obviously, evaluations kind of have to break your way in order for that to work. But he's the number 30 overall player in the class, and it's really not surprising to see a guy who, with his skill set, get so enamored with Bruce Pearl's program just because of, the precedent for it. You look at guys, watch his games at Auburn and sees guys who look just like him at point guard, doing very, very well. And so just an electric player. He can play both guard spots. He's about 5'11", 6 foot. Gets up and down the floor really, really well. A great passer. A great three-point shooter. He's just a good overall scorer. Just kind of a walking bucket, especially when you look at, his highlights from Peach Jam last week. He dropped 42 in a game. He had pretty much a game winner in overtime. And he was on the floor against some of the most talented players in the country. And he was on the floor against Bronny James. LeBron James was there taking in those games. He's on the floor with a bunch of really talented guys, and he can hold his own against every single one of them. And so when you're talking about, the 2023-2024 classes for Auburn, that's probably when this roster is going to completely be turned over from what we know. Right now, there will be a bunch of guys that are on there right now that will not be there anymore. And so you've got to have solid cornerstones in order to set up the future. And, again, a ready-made point guard for a Bruce Pearl offense who happens to be the number 30 overall prospect in the country certainly is not a bad way to start for them in 2023.
Not at all. Nathan King, great stuff, great intel, great info. And, of course, you guys got a great YouTube channel as well. Let everybody know how to follow all your coverage, cranking up, as you said, tomorrow when you guys get a chance to hear from Brian Harsin.
Yeah, of course, the fall camp is, I always tell people, to me, it's the busiest time of the year, just because during the football season, maybe a Wednesday or Thursday, after things have quieted down in terms of interviews, you're kind of getting ready for the game, and so it's maybe a little more relaxed. Fall camp is just relentless. It's every day or it's every other day. And so we're really excited about it. Next 3 weeks is going to be just go, go, go. And AuburnUndercover.com will have so much stuff for y'all every single day, and so we're excited to get it rolling.
Well, thank you,
Thanks,
Nathan. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nathan King with us. There's some good talk about the Auburn Tigers. They get ready for camp on Friday. Let's get that final break in. Your tomorrow's headlines today are going to go to the NFL for those.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Been working a wreck on County Line at Browns Ferry. That one reported as an injury type. That's our only working accident. Heavy traffic load. We picked up some additional school zones today, so you be careful all across the valley. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Alabama. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It is your tomorrow's headlines today, and happy birthday. We started the show with probably the GOAT of broadcasting, Vin Scully.
Mm-hmm.
One of the GOATs at quarterback, Tom Brady, celebrating happy birthday number 45 today.
And he called his own shot, said he wanted to play till he was 45, and he's certainly going to.
He gets the day off. The Buccaneers are at practice already. He gets the day off from practice today, does Tom Brady. How about this, though? He has spent half of his life in the NFL.
Yep.
Half of his life in the NFL. He's 45 today. Yesterday, Tom Brady's name got surfaced, not because of his birthday, but because of the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins were found to have tampered in trying to lure Tom Brady to Miami.
Sean Payton
to Miami. They had impermissible communications with Brady while he was under contract with the Patriots. Those communications began as early as 2019 and continued throughout the 19 season and postseason. They also had it with Sean Payton, so the NFL fined their owner and took away a bunch of draft picks from the Dolphins. They got hit hard, did the Miami Dolphins yesterday. So that is your NFL.
Harder than Deshaun Watson, which doesn't make any sense, but oh well.
No, it doesn't. And by the way, there was
full of it.
There was someone that I read. Where did I see this? Another NFL player was suspended. Oh, the Saints released Kawan Baker, but he was suspended 6 games for violating the NFL policy on performance-enhancing substances.
Right. He didn't harass 25 women.
So that came out yesterday as well. That came out yesterday as well. Something that also came out yesterday as well, and that is the the teams for the Huntsville Classic.
Yeah, the Huntsville City Classic. It will be a monumental year because it's the 40th anniversary for the tournament. It's going to be a great event, no doubt about it, as it always is. It's a rite of passage for everyone. It's something that we're going to be able to hopefully bring you on 97.7 The Zone. We have a very good relationship with Scott Stapler, who runs that tournament. I've been involved in it since 1990. It's just something to me that is become part of the fabric of our community, and can't wait for that tournament. It's going to be it's an awesome event, and again, 16 teams. And some of the best in the state, including Baker out of Mobile with LeBaron Philon, who may be the best player in the state. He's only a junior, but he's as talented a player as there is in the country. And, Coach David Armstrong is going to bring his Hornets over here to play in our event. And the Mountain Brook Spartans coming back under Tyler Davis as well. And, of course, all of our local teams. And we have so much talent. The Huntsville Crimson Panthers, the Bob Jones Patriots, so many.
Buckhorn will be
Buckhorn
there.
And Caleb Holt and Patrick Harding, great basketball team as well. So many great players have played in this event, and it's going to be awesome to have the 16 teams, including a new one as well that went to the Final Four for the first time in school history last year, Scott, the Haleyville Lions. They will be coming, and they've got a sophomore guard, Bryant James. Remember that name. He will be one of the best players in this state and such a talented player, and we really look forward to having another great tournament, the 40th one, and the Sparkman Senators, the defending champion.
Westminster Christian Academy going to be in that.
Chase McCarty
as well.
One of the best players in the state of Alabama also.
There's going to be some talent. There is going to definitely be some talent this year for the Huntsville City Classic. Austin, Bob Jones, Buckhorn, Columbia, Jacksonville, Lee, Madison Academy, Mae Jemison, Mountain Brook, Oxford, Sparkman, Westminster Christian Academy. So we're glad for that one. We're happy for that one as well.
And some big news for Grissom basketball as well. R.J. Johnson today at 4 o'clock will be visiting Alabama. Nate Oates and those guys before they go overseas to Spain and France. He just got a big offer from Mike White and the Georgia Bulldogs. So R.J. Johnson had a big summer, and he's headed to Tuscaloosa today.
All right, that's going to do it for our Wednesday edition. We're going to wake back up with everybody tomorrow morning on Thursday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's Talking Ball right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Don't forget, the Atlanta Braves play a little early today, 11:20, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone as they take on the Phillies as they get ready for the New York, what did we call them earlier? Bill Shanks, the New York.
Mutts.
The Mutts, yes. All right, that'll do it. See everybody back here tomorrow.
When our lives were interrupted, Madison Academy immediately began distance learning instruction thanks to our Apple device program and a well-prepared faculty.
When the Dodgers welcome the San Diego Padres, coverage begins at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
La Liga, the League of Champions, is on ESPN+.
Real Madrid are the champions of La Liga.
The home of superstars, historic rivalries.